dudes are having sex with other dudes, bro. The internet might come for you.
You say sweet love, sweet love.
Yeah, you gotta say make sweet love.
That's young buck breaking right there.
Make sweet love.
There's rules to rap beef now, bro. Not in your day.
Well, I'm saying like, God, man,
good.
why is your homeboy so close to you when you come out of there? Look like you guys just made sweet love. I'm gonna say sweet love instead of anything that says.
To me, that's better because they're gonna try to make it something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was smart. Like I didn't think about that. I say things that are borderline. Like I'm like, oh my God, you're in trouble.
You?
Like all the time. Because I just say.
Nah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, Amika's in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop.
Shit.
This is really happening. I'm just saying to you.
Baby.
No, stop. Stop it. You set that up. Look, you set that up. This dude, he's in the same shirt.
What do you mean he's in the same shirt?
Obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying, bro. Like you go, I'm like, nah, it was odd. Like, this is some of the things that people say. Like, girls, guys may say to a girl, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think is happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on.
Wow,
there.
they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You can't dress up Kendrick like that. Oh, you can't dress him up like that.
No, it's jokes.
That's like the White Chicks movie, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, that was comedy. That was good.
Yeah, but that
get away with Wifey.
That's obviously doing chopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah,
it's true. In public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. Though. It's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the wedding. I always say to myself,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. He's in Miami. Wow. Nori's there. Nori knows this. And I looked at him like, yo. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
You saw that video. It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't part.
It all begins with the haunting and mysterious end of Aaron Carter, a pop star who, in his prime, captured hearts across the world. His untimely death in his own home shocked fans and raised more questions than answers. Found lifeless in his bathroom, the official report ruled his death an accidental drowning caused by inhaling compressed gas. Yet, whispers of doubt began almost immediately. Was this truly an accident, or was it a chilling message to those who dare to speak out against the powerful?
And Fab was like, no, we partied it up.
He's like, no, but he did party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was first.
What does it feel like all these years, you being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this. Yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
is, might come for
you see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were and pillaged. This was what was going on. Right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh, shoot. Like, then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Know. Like that, look, like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go, oh, so 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
the laws are the way they are because
Because
because of the priests.
the priests touching little boys.
Oh,
why are we looking at me, bro? I
that's
just go to church. I just go to church, bro. I have nothing to do with this. I have an alibi.
That's why the laws allow them to go that far back.
Turn away from you right there.
I'm just a Catholic kid. Come on.
You've been dead, dude.
No.
What's the body of Christ taste like?
It's sacrilegious. You can't do that.
He's like, yo, drink my blood.
Yo,
So it is crazy when after 20 years they come out. That shit is foul.
But with Puffy, you were the only one saying anything for decades.
yeah, because we had our own little thing.
But you were the only. Everybody
your
else
thing?
was scared.
Huh?
But everybody else is scared. So you think maybe this is a similar thing where everybody else is scared? I don't know what it is. I'm just
I
asking.
think that they're scared.
But if they're scared,
But
then
you've
maybe that's
been
why I'm saying it to them.
insinuating Jay-Z a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you've been saying people gonna come for him a little bit.
No, I thought he would do funky stuff like the Super Bowl. Like it was not okay for me to be at the Super Bowl.
Oh, he tried to cut that.
Yeah, he didn't want me to. Well, they worked to make like there was an issue with me in the NFL that doesn't exist.
So
then-
he did the corporate way of
Yes.
trying to keep you down.
I'm
Oh, it's
doing
not me. It's now.
It's them. And then when M says he's not gonna do it if I'm not there, then
Let's go.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
That's
But
what I'm
what's
talking
your
about.
and Jay's issue?
it's just competitive stuff. for
It's
the
really
music.
just
This is
competitive.
what I'm saying. When it gets past actual art, like actual music, and you're trying to block something that's in business, then it feels weird. It feels like we should be having beef.
Oh,
Okay.
So
I can
that's the
see that.
behind the scenes thing that we don't see. It's
Yeah.
one thing when there's like people talking about each other in music.
Yeah.
But there's behind the scenes business deals that a guy.
Aaron Carter, before his tragic demise, seemed to sense something was amiss. In his final months, his social media posts and public appearances showed a man on edge. He openly expressed fears for his safety and described his home as a place of unease. In one particularly eerie video, he spoke of feeling threatened, pleading with the world to hear his cries. These were not the words of someone carefree. They were the cries of someone who feared an invisible predator.
Yeah, and then and this because it does feel like like when you're in negotiations, it'll feel like the value went down. Like not as hot as you was last week when everybody was excited and saying it feels different. Like, you know, like they saying you lost. Like you get a phone call, even you like, yo, you guys created the largest sales week in hip hop. And I'm like, yeah, but I lost.
Right.
Get off my phone.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get this call from Steve Berman. They run Interscope now, but they like at that point.
And this is when you and Kanye were going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get the call. You go, wait, what did you? Man, get the fuck off my phone.
Because when you look at it with the sales with you and Kanye, like y'all went on this whole who's gonna sell, and that first week Kanye did sell more.
Yeah.
But looking at the numbers, y'all won.
Yeah. No,
But you were like,
look at
nah.
this big. Look, from a sales history. I have the sales history. Interscope didn't do everything Def Jam done for Kanye's number to come back like that. They assumed because they didn't do everything to protect Drake. Because they assume Kendrick and this will be just like anything else that happens. Do you understand? Like they did everything he's saying they did in that lawsuit, they did it.
So you feel like it's valid on that point? Like, yeah, they did
I
that.
understand why you would do that if you was talking to a lawyer, but like in hip hop,
Right.
there's nothing to sue for. There's nothing that I didn't sue for that.
Is anything off boundaries when it comes to beef?
No,
Nothing's out of bounds?
nah.
What about going to their home city and putting on a full concert? Like
Twice.
Kendrick's going to Toronto for 2 nights.
And it's probably gonna be lit.
Right.
The shows are gonna probably be fucking lit. Like, what do you think is gonna happen there? Like, the energy is. You got people that like both of them. They're not gonna They're not gonna switch and just say I don't like both. These are the top artists in our culture right now. Like, the new. It's prime time, big. This is the new.
Have you ever felt a certain way when you would beef with somebody like, damn, this is a lot, or
You know what? If
did you really buy Ja Rule's tickets, like seats at his concert? You
They
did.
were cheap tickets. The tickets were very affordable.
Right.
They was
On the day of his death, neighbors, including a registered nurse, reportedly rushed to his aid. Shockingly, they were blocked by his house sitter, who acted in ways that raised suspicion, locking doors and preventing anyone from entering. This erratic behavior has only added fuel to theories of foul play.
Like StubHub. Yeah, I bought the first 4
How
rolls.
many did you buy? If you say you bought the first 4 rolls, is that a couple hundred?
Yeah, it was cheap though. It was cheap tickets, so it was something to do. Like if you don't look at me like that, baby.
All right, man.
We know for years. It's just I looked at it. I said, "Yo, this is the." I just want you to feel like you gotta reach the people. They're like 4 or 5 rows back.
Man, what is this? That 2 decades later, it's still this.
No, I mean it's not that big of a sacrifice for me. Now I've bought things that mean less to me.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
That was fun. That was like watching it. Let me see the show and see the spaces are empty because they are reserved for someone else. They're not supposed to be sitting.
That's brutal. That's so brutal.
Man, hey man, Fat Joe in the World Series. We just recently had Fat Joe in.
Yeah.
And Fat Joe came in, man. And first off, he said, "Man, I'm wearing my ass kisser outfit." He came in like a purple hoodie,
Some Laker gear.
with some. But and Joe's my guy. And at one point, you and Joe wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah.
And he explained that too about with Chris Lighty, and you know what I'm saying. Like you just see things that in due time, grown men came together, and y'all really like even Buster.
Yeah.
Like and Bust went out with Final Lap.
Yeah.
But it was at one time where you and Fat Joe like y'all weren't cool.
And it's look, Joe's the kind of guy that you want to be friends with. He's loyal to a default.
Right.
Right. And at points, like if that person's not, if you don't have the connection with them, you're going to just not like it because you're going to be like, what's wrong with them?
Right.
Like you don't have an issue, but it seems like you're uncomfortable.
Yeah. Association.
If a person's uncomfortable with your success, then they shouldn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, that's what I was getting off him and that vibe, big. So I'm just like, nah. Like, and I didn't I didn't invite these situations, but I didn't
run away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would look and go, oh, so you want a problem? Is that what you want?
Hey man,
I was already in mode for that. Like like the vehicles is bulletproof and bomb-proof and everything, and I'm like, what? I'm already geared up for the whole thing. So it's like I'm like, oh, you thought you was like different.
How can that happen with Buster, Fat Joe? Is the Ja Rule, is it deeper?
No, it's the same thing that you see Drake experience. So how did he just have? This is the op page.
Right.
He was just winning consistently more than everybody.
And then there's the cryptic connection to Hollywood's elite. Just before his death, Aaron sent a tweet to Kanye West asking for a private conversation. The timing of this message is chilling. What did Aaron know, and why did he feel the need to reach out to one of the most controversial figures in the entertainment industry?
Talking about that breaking news before the break, we are just learning that a judge has denied another one of rapper Sean Diddy Combs' requests to be released on bail. I remember he's behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn waiting for his trial to get started next. Showing this for us. We were waiting for this decision. We got it in now. What do we know?
All right. Well, it's 5 pages, and the takeaway here is that the judge is saying that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. And that was what New York prosecutors were saying. I was in court twice last week, and I listened to these prosecutors say that he was a danger to the community. And they showed that video, that surveillance video of him from 2016, brutally beating his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, saying that he has a propensity to violence, and that alone is a reason why we cannot agree to the proposed bail package. Now, his team had offered $50 million, a home of his in Miami as collateral, and they said that he would live in an apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side, monitored by 24-hour security, that he would only talk to his attorneys, that he would only have, certain family members on a pre-approved list, and that, he would actually be under stricter conditions than he is at the jail in Brooklyn. But clearly, this is the third time this judge not buying it.
What was Diddy like in court? You were there twice last week. What was his
Yes.
demeanor like?
I mean, he was smiling on Friday, turned around and looked at his children. All of his children were there except for his infant child. His mother was there. He looked a little thinner. He looked a little worse for wear, but has seemed upbeat and positive. And a few days earlier on Wednesday, so a week ago today, his legal team had a win, because his team was able to say that New York prosecutors wrongly obtained 16 pages of notes from his jail cell during a routine sweep, that it had his defense strategy, it had witnesses that they planned to call at the criminal trial in May, and the judge agreed that those should have been protected under attorney-client privilege. So there was a feeling today among reporter friends of mine and people in the building here that, maybe there's a chance that the judge, given he's taking several days to think about this, he asked for both sides to write a letter, that he might release him. But this is the third time. His team, we're waiting for a response from them, from his legal team. They could appeal again. But we were talking to Danny Savalos earlier, and he said, they would have to propose something new and different to potentially be successful for a fourth attempt.
Thank you for being.
Enter Sean Diddy Combs, a man who has become the focus of a storm of allegations. Diddy is no stranger to controversy, but the claims against him have reached an unprecedented level of darkness. Federal investigators are now reportedly delving into his potential ties to Aaron Carter's death, as well as other high-profile cases, including the mysterious passing of his ex-girlfriend Kim Porter.
And we're back with some breaking news. A federal detention hearing for Sean Diddy Combs has just ended, and CNN's Kara Scannell is outside the courthouse in New York. Kara, obviously, this is a huge case. What just happened?
Yeah, Jake. So the magistrate judge overseeing this hearing today has remanded lawyers saying that he has taken voluntary steps, including turning over his passport to his lawyers, saying he would report any of his movements to prosecutors. But the judge finding that that was just not enough. She said, my concern is that this is a crime that happened behind closed doors, even when pretrial services is monitoring. So she said there was nothing that his lawyers had offered that made her feel comfortable that he would return to this courthouse for subsequent court hearings and for a trial. She said that it was both his when he was using drugs and alcohol, that was a reason why she couldn't trust that he would not commit any additional crimes while he was left on bail. So Sean Diddy Combs is not going to be walking out this door. He is in federal custody, where he will be unless his lawyers are able to convince a different judge to release him.
Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were able to any type of alleged the reasoning around all of this, his alleged motivation as presented in that indictment by the government is for his own personal gratification. And that's just the strangest type of indictment I've ever seen. But I agree with you. This indictment.
Photos of a young Aaron Carter alongside Diddy have resurfaced, sparking disturbing questions. Was Aaron just another pawn in a larger, more sinister game? Rumors suggest that Diddy and his associates may have victimized Carter as a child, exploiting him at industry parties while introducing him to harmful substances. These allegations paint a grim picture of an industry that preys on the young and vulnerable.
Reads, it's very disturbing. The facts presented are out of, a very bad Hollywood story. And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these sexual performances that have been named freak-offs. And there seems to be a ton of evidence, allegedly, tying this scheme together. So it's an interesting way of prosecuting it, but I understand why they did it that way.
So what did you make of what Elizabeth Wagmeister just reported? And obviously, Sean Diddy Combs and his attorneys they're going to get their day in court. But the idea that the government, in their characterization, does not say that anybody did any of these things non-consensually. What do you make of that?
I make of that as being a big flaw already in the government's case, which the defense was quick to point out. Even if he was engaging in this alleged conduct, there was no allegation or no statement in that indictment saying that any of these alleged victims or alleged witnesses willingly participated in some of these acts that people find offensive, that sound to be offensive. And that's a very important part of the case. What was the consent? But there are enough charges here where outside of what the alleged victims are going to say about how he was using the resources allegedly from his enterprises, his businesses, his well-known Bad Boy Entertainment, his clothing line resources, his liquor line resources. Allegedly, there were funds used from that resources to engage in this alleged prostitution activity across state lines. And that's why it's a federal case, because it's across straight lines. So there are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
So the Office of the Southern District of New York seems awfully confident about their ability to handle the scope and complexity of the case. But still, why do you think it took them so long for them to go after Combs, considering they allege his crimes have been going on for more than a decade?
My theory is that the government had an easy time putting together this final prosecution because of all the civil actions existing against Sean Combs right now. The case with Cassie, which that video was shown, his former girlfriend, where he was seen assaulting her. It looked like certainly that he was assaulting her on video. I think the government and investigators were able to accumulate all this easy evidence that was just handed to them from the attorneys who prepared the civil cases that are now pending against him. I think things just started piling up, and eventually Sean Combs got to a place where his luck ran out, and therefore he was indicted and arraigned.
Stacey Schneider, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
And the pattern doesn't stop there. Diddy's influence has been tied to a string of troubling events. Kanye West has publicly accused him of being a puppet for powerful individuals, threatening and silencing those who dare to defy the status quo. West's claims align with a broader narrative of manipulation and exploitation within Hollywood, one that seems to trace back to figures like Diddy.
Steph, thank you. We are following breaking news right now related to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Major new allegations today of sexual assault and exploitation by Combs. For the first time, we are hearing about victims who say they were minors when they were allegedly assaulted by the music star. The youngest allegedly just 9 years old. The allegations were revealed today by attorneys representing more than 100 alleged victims who are preparing to sue. So let's bring in NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas right now. So Chloe, we know there is currently a press conference underway. We do have a live picture of that. Can you just walk us through these new allegations and tell us if we've heard from Combs yet?
So the individual that you see on the screen right now, that is an attorney based out of Houston, Texas, and his name is Tony Busby. He's been a part of some very well-known litigation over the years involving a BP oil spill, even involving the Astroworld Music Festival crisis where some individuals were killed during a stampede. So he has made headlines before, but this is pretty shocking. So he claims is claiming right now at this press conference that he has had over 3,000 individuals reach out to his law firm in Houston, Texas, that he and his team have been vetting these claims, that now they are representing over 120 accusers, and that over the next 30 days, they will begin to file different civil suits, that this is not a class action lawsuit, that they are going to continue to vet these allegations, but right now they feel strong about these. So he also said today that it's not just Combs that will be named.
But what truly shook the public was Curtis, 50 Cent Jackson's unexpected entry into the narrative. A longtime rival of Diddy, 50 Cent unveiled unseen footage of Aaron Carter, sending shockwaves through both the industry and the public. While the exact content of this footage remains unknown, its existence alone is enough to cause Diddy significant anxiety. Could this be the smoking gun that unravels years of secrets?
As a defendant, that there will be other high-profile individuals, some household names. He says, quote, many powerful people, there are many dirty secrets. He also talks about where these individuals are from. He said that they hail from more than 25 states, New York, California, Florida. We know that Diddy had a residence in Miami, Georgia. We've reached out to Sean Combs' legal team for comment. They have not yet responded. Combs is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn while he is awaiting trial on the New York indictment, where he is charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. Now, I also just want to point out that they also claim that 62% of these individuals are identifying as an African American, and that they are evenly split between female accusers and male accusers, and Clay. So this is very interesting. And he said that look, I know that everybody expected me today or wanted me to name other high profile individuals. He says, I'm not going to do that today, but it will come at some point. And he says that these names will shock you.
Wow. I mean, shocking details, to say the very least. And I'm sure just the start of what's to come. Chloe Malas, thanks so much.
The internet, of course, has erupted into a frenzy. Social media platforms are ablaze with theories ranging from Aaron Carter being silenced for uncovering a kingpin ring to the existence of a clandestine Hollywood network controlling young stars. Amateur detectives are piecing together timelines, revisiting cryptic interviews, and analyzing every detail in an attempt to uncover the truth.
Tonight, explosive allegations against legendary rapper and mogul Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. Music Awards in 2000, the year Jay-Z was nominated for Big Pimpin'. The mogul, husband of megastar Beyonce, calling the accusation heinous. Now his lawyers also firing back, saying these are false, unfounded allegations. The lawsuit was originally filed in October against Combs, Jay-Z's longtime friend, and an unnamed Celebrity A. But now it has been refiled, naming Celebrity A that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched. Now Jay-Z accusing the woman's attorney of trying to blackmail him in a demand letter, suggesting the attorney had tried to seek a settlement first.
These kinds of demand letters are sent on a daily basis across the United States, and attempting to attack me to take the
And Chloe, we don't know the identity of the accuser, which was the crux of a filing today.
That's exactly right, Lester. The accuser is currently listed as Jane Doe in the lawsuit, but just hours ago, Jay-Z's attorney filed a motion demanding that her identity be revealed or have this case completely dismissed. Now, ultimately, this will be the judge's decision, but it's also possible that the accuser, who is now an adult, could come forward and reveal her identity on her own, Lester.
Even Justin Bieber, another star who rose to fame at a young age, has been pulled into this web of speculation. Now a father, Bieber has been open about his struggles with mental health, leading many to wonder if he too was a victim of exploitation during his formative years. The connection to Diddy, who played a significant role in shaping Bieber's early career, has not gone unnoticed.
There's an accusation about Jay-Z and Diddy and a teenager, 13-year-old teenager. Right. And we were speaking about just the statement.
Right.
The statement, you were saying you felt like that was calculated.
That was, the statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says, you're going to find out, like how I'll handle this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like your publicist wouldn't say those things.
This is on your.
Who put that out?
Yeah, this is on.
50?
Yeah, it says, I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for Kendrick. You know, I'm just trying to figure out if we're still doing everything the way. Because look, they will fall back, but the NFL, they won't necessarily be associated to that.
Right. Why do you not insert yourself, but you're on top of every topic, right?
Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm participating. I'm being part of culture. I'm just telling you my opinion.
Right.
Look,
because you're part of the culture.
Like I can't say anything now. I'm out of it. I'm like I'm going to Dre's studio and just sit with Dre a little.
Right.
And then maybe I stay out of trouble.
Nah.
And then there's Kanye West, a man who seems to be both a whistleblower and a target. Kanye's own experiences with Hollywood power structures add another layer of complexity to this narrative. He has accused his former trainer, Harley Pasternak, of threatening to institutionalize him, raising questions about psychological manipulation within the industry. Kanye's ongoing feud with Diddy only amplifies the theory that these are not isolated incidents, but symptoms of a much larger problem.
Tonight, 3 men accusing filed Thursday. The suits allege Diddy plied them with doctored drinks, then attacked them while they were unconscious.
They were all very consistent, frighteningly consistent.
New York-based attorney Thomas Giffra represents the 3 anonymous accusers.
All 3 of these guys, same thing. They'd wake up and he'd be raping them.
Kind of difficult for me.
Tonight, one of the new accusers speaking exclusively to NBC News.
Can you explain to everyone why you don't want to reveal your identity?
Well, at the top of the list, it's definitely shameful and embarrassing.
In early 2020, he says he met with Combs at a hotel in Times Square, seeking payment for errand-type work he had completed for Diddy. He says the discussion was cordial and he had a drink.
Within 2 minutes, I start to feel just very tired, very sleepy. Mind you, I'm not under the impression that I'm being drugged or anything like that.
He says he was so groggy that he laid down on the couch.
When I finally kind of came to, I could feel myself being humped, and I could feel I was penetrated. And I'm like, hey, what's... And the thing that sticks in my head today, the phrase that just rattles in my brain all the time is I'm almost done. Just stop moving. I'm almost finished.
In a statement to NBC News, Combs' lawyers said, these complaints are full of lies. We will prove them false and seek sanctions against every unethical lawyer who filed fictional claims against him.
There are now
The deeper you dive, the darker the picture becomes. Hollywood, once seen as a beacon of glamour and creativity, is increasingly being exposed as a place of exploitation and control. Young stars like Aaron Carter and Justin Bieber are thrust into a world where they are celebrated but also manipulated, their innocence stripped away by those who wield power behind the scenes.
Refusing to grant Sean Diddy Combs This is Combs in court after prosecutors arrested him at a hotel in Manhattan. It's where he's apparently been living for weeks, according to what a person familiar with the move tells NBC News. All of it a tipping point now in that sprawling federal investigation into the super. As we're just getting in some new and deeply disturbing details about the allegations against him in what looks like a massive criminal operation, allegedly. At least 50 victims and witnesses so far. And at the center of it,
and he often electronically recorded them.
prosecutors say Combs punched and kicked his victims to try to keep them under control. He'd also, they say, filled them up with drugs like ketamine and ecstasy for long periods of times, even using incriminating records to try to manipulate his victims. Prosecutors say they discovered this wide range of evidence against Combs in several raids. They found things, they say, like AR-15s, narcotics, more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants. We should note here that an attorney for Combs says that he, I'm quoting here, will fight this with all of his energy. His team is already planning to appeal the bail ruling, meaning they will be back in court tomorrow, as Combs has, as we mentioned, pleaded not guilty. We've got team coverage. Laura Jarrett standing by with the legal analysis piece of it. But I want to start outside court with Julia Ainsley, because, Julia, this went fairly late into the day. I know you've been at the courthouse as a judge, as we've just learned, is denying this request for bail. Explain why that is and what else we've learned today.
Yeah, that's right. We were in there for about 2 hours.
The questions are endless. Was Aaron Carter silenced to protect secrets too dangerous to be revealed? What does the footage presented by 50 Cent contain, and why does it terrify Diddy? How many other stars have faced similar fates but lack the courage or platform to speak out? And most importantly, how can this cycle be broken?
As the Justice Department from the Southern District of New York laid out their case, very similar to what you saw in the indictment, saying why he should not be released, because they say that he is a flight risk, he could leave the country, and also that he has a history of obstructing justice. They also pointed to how serious these crimes were, that with previous allegations of sex trafficking like R. Kelly, and also say that these acts were consensual. And they point to victim number 1, who's named over and over again, who they say is someone was in a 10-year relationship with Combs that was toxic but consensual. They said that this person actually tried to sell this same story as book rights to Combs to try to get it out of the media's eye, but instead, when he refused, then this civil lawsuit came up. But the judge continue testifying or being witnesses to some of these acts that were alleged in the civil complaint, and then him detained without bond.
Julia, it is, I think for a lot of folks, they will find this stunning, considering that Diddy, right, Sean Combs, has been previously one of the most successful music superstars in the world. Just a year ago, he was handed a key to New York City. Now here we are, after months of this being out in the public, these allegations being made public, his denials. He's potentially facing 15 years to life in prison. What does the timeline look like here?
Well, we understand that tomorrow they'll try to appeal the judge's decision. His defense will do that tomorrow at 3:30. They'll meet again next week for a conference, and then perhaps we'll be looking at a trial early next year. But, Hallie, I have to say, what you said there was also striking. I mean, I watched him today sitting there very humbly in court in a black T-shirt, nodding along with his defense, otherwise just looking very stoic, straight ahead at the judge. It's hard to imagine this is the same man, but the timeline is also staggering. It's one thing to think, oh, that was something that happened.
Ainsley live for us there outside court in New York. Can you just give a sense really quickly, Julia, before I let you go? Is it just a scene there? I mean, I have to imagine, given who Sean Combs it is just a crush of cameras, a crush of people.
It is. It's been really crowded today, and there have been people who've been driving by, sometimes screaming, "Free Diddy." Someone else stood up earlier and said Tupac would be ashamed of Diddy. It's been a lot of people, a lot of public interest here. I will say the court wasn't as crowded as I thought, but still nearly full, and also full of his friends and family who came out.
Sean Diddy Combs.
The music mogul is facing 5 new civil lawsuits, including one from a woman who 18 years old. Combs is currently being held in a detention
Entertainment correspondent Chloe Melas joins us now with this exclusive reporting. So, Chloe, walk us through what we should know about these new lawsuits.
Hey there, guys. These are the first civil suits being filed by Texas-based attorney Tony Busby. He held that press conference not long ago in which he said he was representing dozens of accusers and that he would be naming some high-profile individuals besides Combs. These are the first. And so there were 5 suits filed today on behalf of 4 men and 2 women, all of which are remaining anonymous out of fear, according to these suits. And these allegations, they only name Combs and his businesses and actually a hotel and a department store as defendants. They don't name any other high-profile celebrities. And these complaints span but I do want you to hear a little bit from my interview that I did just a little while ago with attorney Tony Busby.
There's an overarching theme here, as you probably can see, which is basically Sean Combs feels like he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to do it. A lot of the conduct alleged is violent, and threats were made. And I think, but for the fact that Sean Combs was arrested and bail denied, these people would not have come forward.
Busby says he's going to file other civil suits, and this is all coming as Combs is facing a criminal trial.